So, Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Everyone, here's a question. So, this sister has been making dua for her mother-in-law to accept Islam and before Ramadan. And we are on the 29th of Ramadan. And subhanAllah, she made her shahada yesterday and sent the following question. The following question says that, let's look at it. It says, be specific and it will, although be very specific for me, it will make it easy. Like how to teach her about salat, to what extent, how should she pray in the meantime till she learns all the steps that she's supposed to be taking. She's a middle-aged woman, just anything you think might be relevant. I think she will be private about her faith for now. I'm not sure if she's ready to inform any family other than her son who's already Muslim. So I actually want to take you to a hadith that is directly related to this. All right. So we're looking at this hadith, and this hadith, of course, you could see that it's an authentic hadith, and the Prophet ﷺ had sent Mu'adh ibn Jabal. So Mu'adh ibn Jabal, the Prophet ﷺ sends him to Yemen. And the Prophet ﷺ tells him, now, mind you, the people in Yemen, they actually had different faiths. So you had Christians, you had Jews, you even had Hindus, all right? And you also had pagans as well. So that was in Yemen. In fact, until this day, you have multiple faiths in Yemen. Anyhow, so he tells Mu'adh, إِنَّكَ سَتَأْتِي قوما أهل كتاب. So you're going to come across people that are from the people of the book. فإذا جئتهم فادعوهم إلى أن يشهدوا أن لا إله إلا الله. If you come across and you basically encounter them and you basically meet them, then let the first thing that you invite them to do is Allah ilaha illallah, to bear witness that there's no God worthy of worship but Allah, and Muhammad sallallahu is the messenger of Allah. فَإِنْهُمْ أَطَاعُوا لَكَ بِذَلِكَ. I want you to look at this one. If they obey you in that, then فَأَخْبِرْهُمْ, then tell them that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala had obligated them 5 prayers throughout the day and the night. فإنهم أطاعوا لك بذلك, then if they obey you in that, فأخبرهم أن الله قد فرض عليهم صدقة تؤخذ من أغنيائهم فترد على فقرائهم. If they obey you in that, then tell them that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala had obligated a donation that they have to pay that would be taken from the rich, given to the poor. And if they obey you in that, فَإِيَّاكَ وَكَرَائِمَ أَمْوَالِهِمْ. If they obey you in that, be careful from taking the best of their wealth. واتقي دعوة المظلوم, and be careful from the invocation that an oppressed one makes. فإنه ليس بينه وبين الله حجاب. There is no barrier between that dua and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So what you want to see, of course, is that Mu'adh ibn Jabal, when he had actually been on the mission to go for Yemen, the Prophet ﷺ was teaching him that there are certain steps that you have to take. You can't rush them into accepting everything in Islam. And it's only when they're ready to go for the second step that you're going to go for the second and try teaching them. And of course, when you look at فَإِنْهُمْ أَطَاعُوا لَكَ بِذَلِكَ, that basically tells you that there is a time lapse just until they fully absorb it, until they make the practice, and until they're ready to go for the next step in what it means to become Muslim. And notice how it was really trying to break it down for them to help them understand, at least, let's call it the explanation, the narrative, and how it basically suits the ideas and how they could understand it completely. So not always would you want to start and say, well, the scholars had differences of opinions, and start giving them Aysha Wazwaz's answers. That's not something that suits somebody that is a starting level. All right. So don't give them the scholars had differences of opinions. Make it simple. And sorry about that. Make it simple. Take one answer. And here's a question. If I already know there are differences of opinions between scholars on the matter, but I know she wasn't ready to take the preponderant, quote unquote, or at least the one that has the strongest opinions. But I know that she's ready to take one of the opinions that's probably less harsh and probably, let's call it less extreme, but it's a considerable opinion. You could actually do that. So when you're talking about, for example, hijab, okay, instead of talking to her about maybe niqab and covering the face and the abaya and all the details of what makes a proper hijab, even if you started out with saying, well, maybe baggy trousers, for example, a long shirt, maybe like a covering that would cover the head and the neck. That's a good start. Don't go for, trying to get her into, let me say, adopting the true seriousness of every single opinion. That's a tougher step. So this is just an idea. This is just an idea of what I would be talking about. So same thing when you're talking about Siyam, for example. If she's not ready to fast yet, of course, it's going to be a really new start. So start with Salah. Once she masters Salah, then you can go for more when she's ready to take more. All right. So try to explain that to her. Even with Salah, let's say she's trying to do her Salah, but she doesn't know all the details. Even if she just says, well, I could do Allahu Akbar. Can you read off your phone at least the prayer and just do the moves that you know how to do? You could hold your phone, read off your phone, and here's the Fatiha. And she'll say, no, I don't want to read the Arabic side of it. I want to read it in English so that I could process, although it's, we don't, that the Hanafi opinion had mentioned that, but then they basically had said it's not our opinion. But if it's somebody that's training and she just wants to take these baby steps in making her shahada in place, and then even if she just knows how to say Allahu Akbar and make the move, at least do that piece of it. You just know how to do Allahu Akbar and make the move. You just know how to do the ruku' and sujood. You know that piece of it. That's great. Let's start with that. Then start growing. Can we add the Fatiha? Here's
I
how you
used
could.
to have a prayer chart on the wall just to because every prayer is different for the number of
Well,
rak'at.
during your time, there was a prayer chart. Now we can actually use apps.
Okay, alhamdulillah
so
for now.
Apps, and the app would bring about a reminder and would make the adhan, so that actually, makes it easier than looking at a chart on a wall. So because your phone is with you, the app would actually turn off for a notification, tell you it's this prayer. And the nice thing is that there are these mats, these prayer mats that you could actually buy from Amazon, and it would do the whole prayer for you. So you could actually stand on it, and it has the place of where your hands are supposed to go, where your feet are supposed to go. And whenever you're doing a certain move, it recognizes that, and it would actually read the surah for you. Yes, it's made for kids, but adults can use it too. So you would be standing and it would read the Fatiha for you. It would do the ruku' for you. It would do the sujood for you. I mean, not the actual mat, but it would recite it for you to make it easy. Or you could also use like a YouTube video to help her see, okay, this is what the next move is. She can read it off a paper or off the phone. That's also a good start. So these are just tips. But I think the most important thing is really getting to know the masjid, getting to know the people there, because it brings in a sense of community. It brings in a sense of family, and especially women, we're very social beings, and we want to feel that there's somebody that is adopting us, somebody that is embracing us. And I think it's important, especially women, to connect them to the masjid. It's really sad that some people would always recommend women, oh, you have to be at your home, praying at home is better. But when somebody is actually a new Muslim, the other way is going to really make their Islam forgotten. So recommend that they would come to the masjid in order for them to get the hang of, in order to hang, or let me say, in order to bring about the new society, to bring about new groups, new friends, new acquaintances. And that brings in that power of that social change to help her recognize and learn Islam. And of course, it's part of our own psychology as human beings that when we see more people doing a certain thing, we kind of get this power in our mind that we want to join along. And this is it's exactly like the birds that are alike, they flock together without you realizing. When you see so many people doing one particular thing, it gives you the vibe to join along. It gives you the vibe and the confidence to be able to do it. And it gives you also the vibe, not only of confidence, but also a sense of spirituality. So let her get acquainted with the masjid and connect her to the masjid, to one, learn more about Islam, and two, to get the confidence, and number three, to find other people teaching her rather than you. Since she's your mother-in-law, there's always probably going to be coming in. I know since she's not Arabi or Pakistani, Arabi and Pakistani mother-in-laws are probably going to be the ones to feel that there's some hierarchy that you gotta respect. I don't think Western mother-in-laws are really the same thing, but sometimes that piece of age, sometimes it feels that I'm here. Sometimes people might feel that I'm still older. You got to respect my age. I don't want you to be parenting me or giving me all this information like I'm a young child. So you want to be careful in how you deliver the message. So when they hear it from other people, it becomes easy to adopt than always from a relative, even if that's a daughter-in-law. So giving her probably YouTube videos on what you recommend on how to make salah, letting her learn on her own sometimes helps, because it's not coming from you giving the instruction, but it's actually her doing the education. And that helps in adopting that idea that I'm learning on my own and not somebody giving me the instruction, because the part about instruction feels like there's some superiority and therefore I'm inferior. It doesn't always feel comforting. It doesn't always feel good to feel that you're being here a student. Just wanted to mention that. I made it short just because Noura sent me a message that I should make it.
No, I want to put on TikTok. If it's too long, it won't go on there.
Oh, fair enough. So I'm quiet now.
Sorry. I had one more question. I don't know if
Yep.
you have time to do it or not.
Oh, go ahead. Go ahead. Today, I think I'm more dedicating today for question and answer.
Oh, okay. No, just like a minute. You might want to record this too. I don't know, but so when you join on the second, wait, okay, when you join on the second rakah and they go straight to the tashahhud, that yes, sorry. Okay. And so like when you're joining, you're supposed to do it after the second one, right? Can you just sorry.
If I'm understanding what you're trying to say, I'm trying to, you're saying that you're coming in late, right?
Yeah, you're coming in on the second rakah. They're going and they're,
Okay, so let me explain this one. I'm going to do this little art Okay, I'm gonna
Do you
do
want
this.
to do you want to record this too?
All of it is being recorded. Even your question is
Oh,
being.
oh no. Okay, sorry. Okay.
Okay, so let's say here's the imam. Okay, I don't know why my imam is wearing pink today, but anyhow, so here's the imam, and they're basically doing their salah. Okay, now if you come in, all right, you come in. If they're standing, then you had made the rak'ah. But if let's say the imam was, let's make our imam basically do ruku'. If the imam is then doing ruku', if you make it to enjoin along while he's doing ruku', then you had actually made the rak'ah. What is the amount of time? So when you first come in, you want to make sure that you do what is called takbirat al-ihram, which is the first Allahu Akbar, and then you're going to do Allahu Akbar again in order to basically announce that you're doing that ruku'. If you made an enough ruku' in where حتى تطمئن راكعة, until you are in a state of tranquility during the ruku', then you had actually made the ruku'. But if let's say the imam was rising from the ruku' and you came in and he was just, halfway rising, or he was just saying Allahu Akbar, then you didn't actually make the ruku'. So what does that mean? That actually means that rak'ah, you're not going to consider it. All right, so that set, you're not going to consider it, and therefore you're basically going to start counting the missed rak'ahs. So if let's say you made it, and let's say he basically said Sami Allahu liman hamida, and he was rising, and you just came in and you were like Allahu Akbar, and he was like Sami Allahu liman hamida, that means you didn't make it. And they just right there, of course, Sami Allahu liman hamida. Let's say this was the second rak'ah. All right, this is the second rak'ah. So in that situation, he's going to stand up and then he's going to go for sitting down or actually making sujood. And once he makes the sujood, then he's going for the tashahhud. Tashahhud, tahiyyatullah, salawatu tayyibat, assalamu alayka ayyuhan nabi, and so forth. You're going to go along, okay? You're going to continue doing what they're doing and follow along with what they're doing. But you're going to keep in mind that you came in late for the first rak'ah, and the second rak'ah you didn't make it. So once he does the third, once he does the fourth, you follow along and you do as if you did not miss anything. Once on the fourth, they say Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. That's when you're going to get up and you're like, oh, I missed two. Now is the time to make up the two. Okay. So you basically consider yourself, now this was number one for you, this was number two for you, now you're getting up for number three, and then you're going to go for number four. Got it? So
right. So you say it with them when they're saying
oh yes, you do. Yes, certainly.
Okay.
You do.
Yeah, that's what
Yes.
I thought. I just want to make sure like you weren't saying too many of those in the.
It can happen that you're saying too many. It can happen. Let's give an example on this. So let's say you came in for Maghrib and this was the second rak'ah. Okay. So you came in for Maghrib and this is the second rak'ah in Maghrib. But when you came in, they were right there in their tashahhud. So you were like, okay, here it is. They're sitting down. My little guy is supposed to be sitting down. Okay. All right. So they're sitting down and you came in. What are you going to do? Well, they're just sitting down. Yeah, well, you're going to sit down like them. You're going to say Allahu Akbar, which is the takbirat al-ihram, and then you're going to sit down with them. So am I going to say a tahiyyat? Yes, you are. So here's your tahiyyat. Is that going to be counted? Well, it's going to be counted as deeds, but it's not going to be counted as part of the rak'ah, right? It's not going to be counted part of the rak'ah. So
Okay.
So then, of course, they're going to get up for their third. This was supposed to be your first, which you did it was incomplete, but you already made the height. All right. And then their third, there's going to be a tahiyyat too. So now you're making another tahiyyat. And then, of course, once they do that, guess what? This was your first, technically, because this one was, you're just following along and this wasn't counted, but you already made it tahiyyat there. Yes, good for you. But that's because you did the sunnah, but it's still not counted as part of the completed rak'ah. So let's see, this is the third for them and the first for you. So once they say Salamu alaikum wa rahmatullah, you're going to be like, oh, I already missed 2 rak'ahs because this was considered your first, but their third. So
okay, alhamdulillah. Alhamdulillah. I was worried I had it wrong. Okay,
you're going to get up and you're going to do and make up the 2 missed rak'ahs. So technically, you're going to be making 4 tashahhuds.
SubhanAllah. I just want to make sure that was, okay.
Yep. See,
Okay.
Technically, you're making 4 tashahhuds. Why? Because this one, because you were joining along, this one, because it was your first rak'ah, and because anyways, you have to do what the imam is doing, and they did their third, and of course you were coming in on the second, and then you got up because you had missed number 1 and number 2, and since this is your number 2, you're going to make a tashahhud right there because it's your number 2.
Yeah, SubhanAllah.
You see it, you're going to make a tashahhud right there because it's now your number 2. And of course, since this was number 3, you're going to make a tashahhud right there too. So technically, you did 1, 2, 3, 4 tashahhuds during that prayer. So I guess you can make it a trivia question if you would make questions and trivia questions. How is it possible that you can make 4 tashahhuds during a Maghrib prayer and your salah still be valid? Here's a trivia question. Here's the circumstance. You see it?
SubhanAllah. Yeah. Alhamdulillah. Jazakallah khair.
Yep. Wa iyyakum. So any questions, any other questions? I guess we can make it a Q&A for now. And we'll jump onto the ayat in a bit, inshallah. That's okay.
Oh, do you want to stop the recording?
You want me to stop the recording? Sure. How do you do that? Okay.